More rain and more flooding, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Our team coverage begins right now at 6.
This is News 3 at 6.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. We are getting a closer look today at the damage caused by flooding across the county. Dane County Emergency Management says so far its totals more than $154 million.
And now these estimates are broken into 3 areas: residential, private sector business, and public sector. For residential damage, they say a total of 1,554 homes have been affected. Of that, 5 have been destroyed, more than 300 with major damage, more than 850 with minor damage. For businesses, Dane County Emergency Management says 17 businesses suffered major damage, 27 minor damage, 63 others were affected. The estimated dollar amount there, more than $37 million. And in the public sector, there's been nearly $40 million spent on clearing debris, emergency response, roadway repairs, diverting water, and damage to our parks. We have all of those numbers broken down on our website, channel3000.com.
The flooding is not only impacting Dane County. We have team coverage across the region. Rose Schmidt is in Sauk County, where rain is continuing to cause serious problems. And meteorologists Gary Canalti and Dave Caulfield are keeping an eye on the local rain and upcoming forecast. Let's go to Rose first, live in Reedsburg. Rose?
That's right. Well, all this water that you see is coming from the Bear Harbor River. Luckily, though, that river is expected to crest here in Reedsburg either later tonight or tomorrow morning. But it's already caused quite a lot of damage in the area. The most recent estimates show $5.7 million in damage just in Sauk County alone, and 207 homes affected. I spoke with one man here in Reedsburg who is now using a canoe to get from the road to his house. He says he can't stay there any longer because his house will likely be condemned.
We have a place rented in town, and then after that, whatever we're offered, hopefully the assessed value of the house, I don't know. We haven't heard anything from anybody. There's been kind of silent.
For anyone planning to drive through Reedsburg, the Main Street Bridge is currently open. Officials are monitoring it every hour, and police say closing it today seems unlikely. But if the water reaches the bottom of the bridge, they are prepared to close it. Now, emergency management tells me that there are areas here in Sauk County that are affected this time that were not affected back in 2008. So in some ways, they're saying this is actually worse than the floods 10 years ago. And just a reminder from them, if you see streets just like this one with water, don't try to drive through them. You're putting not only your own life in danger, but first responders if they'd have to rescue you. Back to you.
Rose Schmidt live in Sauk County tonight. Rose, thank you.
Now, local fire departments are heading north to help the flooding efforts in Sauk County. Maple Bluff Fire Department's Engine 1 left this morning. This was part of a strike team deployment. This team consists of engines from the Dane, Deerfield, McFarland, and Maple Bluff Fire Departments and a chief from the Middleton Fire District. After today's rain, we are hoping for a much-needed break. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti with our first alert forecast. Gary?
Eric, keep your fingers crossed. It's going to come at the expense of somebody else getting heavy rain, and that down through central and southern Illinois from the remnants of Tropical Storm Gordon. But around here, first we have to get rid of the rain for tonight. Showers will gradually end. Still, there's going to be problems with ongoing flooding, so an alert day remains in place for tonight. Now, you can see on Doppler track, most of the thunderstorm activity is down across Illinois. That's where the heavier rain showers are, just some lighter showers across much of southeastern Wisconsin. But north and west of Madison, it's down to just drizzle or no rain at all. Over the last 48 hours, 3 to 7 inches of rain fell from just north of Prairie du Chien, north of the Wisconsin River to around Richland Center and the Dells. Low temperatures this morning started out around 70 thanks to the high moisture content of the air. We hit 78 before the thunderstorms and showers moved in this morning, and now we're at 71 degrees, but dew point temperatures are still very high in the upper 60s, so it's very humid out there. By tomorrow morning, look for temperatures to drop off into the 50s, and with partly sunny skies tomorrow, we should see dry weather not only from tomorrow, but maybe through much of next week. I'll have more details on weather in a few minutes.
All right, Gary, thank you. Several school districts in our viewing area have shut down due to this weather.
Montello is pushing back their start date by nearly a week. Keely Arthur met with the superintendent today.
We're ready to go, and we're, all the finishing touches are done.
But those months of planning for a September 5th start of school date went out the door as the rain poured into Montello.
It's a little bit like preparing for a big, athletic contest and practicing, and then having that contest canceled.
While all of the school buildings located up high are dry and safe,
The issue is really with this bridge, which 200 staff and students usually use to get to school, now shut down because of all this.
We have 175 students on 4 bus routes who live south of the bridge that is closed, and the alternative routes are 50 miles or so to go around. So having to problem solve around what that looks like, it takes a little bit of time.
Superintendent Margaret Banker says school as well as government officials got that time today, drawing up a plan to put students on smaller buses and use supervised transfer points to get students to school safe and on time by next Monday, despite continued road closures and potentially uncooperative weather.
Now we just need our 780 bright-eyed and bushy-tailed students to join us so we can make the magic happen.
In Montello, Keely Arthur, WISC News 3.
New tonight, the Reedsburg School District is announcing it has canceled classes for the rest of the week. Yesterday, the district superintendent said students were sent home early on the advice of Sauk County Emergency Management. Classes will now resume Monday, September 10th. For the latest on all school closures in our area, go to channel3000.com. Water levels continue to be at historic highs in some spots across southern Wisconsin tonight.
But with so many gauges and all these numbers we're throwing at you, what exactly does all of this mean? Well, our meteorologist Dave Caulfield joins us to sort it all out. Dave?
Yeah, it could be confusing, Charlotte and Eric, and with all the river flooding that we've been dealing with lately, that's a little bit easier to understand because a river height of, say, 12 feet is 12 feet above the riverbed. But lake levels are measured in relation to sea level, which makes it a little bit harder to visualize. All of the Madison lakes have risen over 100-year flood levels, meaning the lake levels have reached a height seen on average once every 100 years, but only 2, Monona and Waubesa, have seen record high levels, or the highest that they've ever been. Even so, as we all know, flooding has been a major concern along the lakes for the past few weeks, and experts fear that lake levels like what the Madison area has observed lately will become more common.
We're going to approach those record flood levels more and more. The climate is changing, and what we're seeing is that intense rain events are happening more frequently closer together.
Now, Soderstein says that it's been a historically bad year for the lakes caused by a very wet spring coupled with recent extremely heavy rains. Algae blooms closed beaches and flooding reduced fishing and boating earlier this summer. And with all of the phosphorus from recent flooding now in local waterways, experts say with the Clean Lakes Alliance say next year could be one of the worst years on record for algae blooms.
Not what we want to hear.
Yes.
After what we've dealt with.
Right.
Unfortunately.
And it's such a resource here. I mean, everybody loves those lakes. Got to take care of them.
Absolutely.
All right, Dave, thank you. Well, if your plans depend on the weather, check out our Channel 3000 weather and traffic app. Accurate 12-hour and 10-day forecasts, all for free. Just search Channel 3000 in your app store. Still to come tonight, rebuilding Sun Prairie, a business destroyed in the explosion in July, now has plans to reopen.
And a sports bar that burned down 2 years ago in Evansville is open for business once again. We'll check it out when we come back. Welcome back. Madison police say the officer involved in a shooting over the weekend has been with the department since 2002. She has been identified today as Officer Christina Hill and is currently on administrative leave pending an investigation. On Saturday, she was responding to a disturbance call on Upham and North Streets. Police say a 35-year-old man pulled a knife and made threats. He was taken to the hospital with what is believed to be a non-life-threatening wound.
2 months after the deadly explosion in Sun Prairie, Glass Nickel Pizza there says it is ready to reopen next month in a new location, or at least it hopes to. The Sun Prairie location, one of several buildings leveled during the blast. In a Facebook post, the restaurant says it'll be back in business in early October at 815 West Main Street. According to the comments, the location will be temporary as the owner works to rebuild and reopen its former location in the next 2 years or less. And a restaurant in Evansville celebrating its reopening today.
The Night Owl has been closed for more than 2 years after a devastating fire. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with why this day is so special for the owners. Adam?
Well, today's reopening of the Night Owl is a result of more than 2 years of hard work from the restaurant's owners and the city itself. Today, I sat down with owner Greg Artisan.
Always here helping.
Always.
The idea for Greg Artisan to get into the restaurant business came from his mother.
My mother's health was failing. She was in her early 60s, and she said, well, do you want to buy a tavern?
With his mother's help, Greg purchased the bar, which he called the Night Owl, shortly after his mother passed away.
The only real foothold I had was hanging on to that tavern restaurant and doing whatever I could do to keep it open.
And through the years, Greg did just that, eventually being joined at the bar by his wife Rita and later on their 2 sons, Travis and Trevor. The Night Owl became a fan favorite in Evansville until the unthinkable happened. Greg and his family's livelihood up in flames.
Talked to my son, Travis was bartending, and I went home, and a half hour later he called me and told me the place was on fire.
It didn't take long for Greg to begin thinking of ways to get the Night Owl back open. Just short of 2 years later, he and his family accomplished their goal, a new building right down the road. On Wednesday, the Night Owl reopened. Portions of the interior reclaimed from the original bar. And as soon as the doors could open, the restaurant was full.
Oh, wait till you see tonight.
Yeah, this is nothing. We probably wouldn't be able to stand here with how busy it's going to be later.
And Greg, while admittedly nervous, knows his mother is watching.
She'd probably yelling at me about something. I'm not sure.
Greg says that when the post went up on the Evansville Facebook page that the Night Owl would be reopening, it got thousands of likes. But a smart man and a smart husband, he's giving all the credit for the last 2 years and today's reopening to his wife.
Very smart man.
Yes,
Adam Duxter in our Rock County Bureau tonight. Adam, thank you.
And still ahead tonight in sports, the Brewers will go for the sweep against the Cubs.
But first, allergy season is here. Why experts say it could be a bad one when we come back.
Showers will gradually come to an end tonight. Dry weather returns for tomorrow, and it may stick around for quite a while. I'll have your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Welcome back. As many people know, allergies have been brutal lately, and doctors are seeing more patients complaining about them right now.
Allergy specialists tell us today we're experiencing an uptick in ragweed pollen. Experts say September is typically ragweed's peak. We're also seeing a high count of outdoor mold because of all the rain and flooding this summer. They say it is important to take your shoes off, change your clothes, take a shower before bed so you're not tracking all that pollen into your home. Also, keep your doors and windows closed. If those strategies and over-the-counter meds don't work, you should see a specialist right away to help you out.
Noah's Ark is extending its season this year. While the water park traditionally ends the season on Labor Day, it's extending the season to include this weekend, September 8th and 9th, for an Oktoberfest-themed celebration. According to a release, it will be called Arktoberfest. During the event, 12 different local beers will be featured, as well as German-themed food and an 18-piece German brass band.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joining us now, and it looks like tropical depression, Gordon, is going to go to our south.
And that's good news because it'll keep not only its moisture, but the moisture from another weather system to our south, and we should stay dry now for a while. Good. Let's start out by taking a look at the rainfall just over the last 3 weeks. And this does not include rainfall after 2:30 this morning. This was, or actually probably since midnight, because this was compiled about 2:30 in the morning from the National Weather Service. And take a look at some of these numbers. Madison over 10 inches, Rio 11 inches, the Dells close to 11 inches, and then you get up into Mauston and Montello, over 18, almost 19, 20 inches of rain. Now, you figure on average, we pick up about 3 feet of rain and melted precipitation over the course of a year. So you're talking about half of your yearly precipitation in 3 weeks. That just kind of puts this flooding in perspective. So even though the showers are winding down, ongoing flooding will continue for tonight, so we have an alert day in the forecast. But the good news is the steadier showers are starting to shift farther off toward the east. To the west, just drizzle or low clouds and not much in the way of additional precipitation. The heavier thunderstorms down to the south now in the warmer air through the Chicago area, and that is heading away from us. Live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. The clouds look pretty ominous, but they're not dropping any rain, and that's a good thing. The WISC Skycam, still a little bit of light rain here on the west side, and the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison, still pretty dreary there, and some light rain falling downtown. The almanac for today shows we did make it up to 78 degrees before the showers developed. Low temperature of 70, that was early this morning and then a couple of hours ago, and right now we're at 71 with light rain at the airport, winds out of the northeast at 6 miles per hour. As we look at temperatures across the Midwest, you can see the front, 80s in Indiana, 60s to our north and west, so definitely a cold front. Winds now shifted to the north, and eventually that will also start to bring down drier air. As we look at weather tracks, skies have cleared now across much of Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin. While that's going on, another thing to watch is Hurricane Florence, way out in the Atlantic Ocean, but it is forecast to move toward the northwest and maybe get close to the United States sometime the early part of next week. A lot of times when you have tropical weather systems, that causes high pressure to form out ahead of it. And the computer models are indicating that once this area of showers moves south and the remnants from Gordon kind of get caught up with it, this area of high pressure will expand as Florence gets close to the coast, and that will set up a dry period for a prolonged period, basically from northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin northward. So this high pressure system will continue to strengthen. That will keep the rain away, and that means we'll have a good chance to dry out for a week or maybe even a little bit longer. Temperatures will be a little cooler. I don't think anybody really minds about that. The dew point temperatures, upper 60s here. Looking at the north and west, they're in the 40s. Nighttime low temperatures may drop into the 40s over parts of our viewing area by tomorrow night. So for tonight, cloudy, showers will gradually come to an end. It'll be cooler, though, with some areas of fog and a low of 55. Tomorrow, we're back to partly sunny skies and a pleasant day with a high of 74. On future track, the last of the showers move on out later on tonight. Skies start to clear as fog develops early in the morning. Then we turn partly sunny tomorrow with highs in the mid-70s. Mostly clear or partly cloudy for tomorrow night with low temperatures around 50 and partly sunny skies on Friday. And northeasterly wind continuing to funnel in dry air, high temperatures mid-70s. 7 to 10 day forecast. Take a look at this. No rain in the next 7 days, maybe a few clouds, a few more clouds on Sunday, but rain staying to our south. Next chance of rain, the end of next week.
It's Bear Week in Green Bay and Packer Week in Chicago. We'll look at the NFL's longest standing rivalry in sports.
Hi, I'm Michelle Carolla. Tonight on the news at 9, Middleton businesses are struggling to stay open after historic flooding in the region. An update is first on Fox at 9.
The Packers and Bears will face each other for the 197th time Sunday night at Lambeau Field when they open the 2018 NFL regular season. The Packers have won 8 of the last 10 meetings, but the Bears could be trending up. They like their young quarterback Mitchell Trubisky, and picking up Khalil Mack Sunday will certainly help the defense. No matter what, though, it's still Bears versus Packers.
It's a division rival. They have a new offensive scheme, new head coach. They have obviously a premier player that was acquired, on Sunday.
Really excited. We've waited a long time, for this one. The whole off season, all you think about is week 1 when that schedule comes out. Obviously, it's a huge rivalry game. Just really excited and appreciative to have another opportunity to go play them.
Tonight we're introducing a new contest you can play on channel3000.com. It's called Pro Pigskin Pick'em, and each week you can win prizes, maybe even a national grand prize by picking the winners of NFL games. Just go to channel3000.com to the contact section. I'm making my picks every week, too. You can see online. I have a really smart guy behind the scenes helping me, so maybe I've got a chance here. A couple of our picks this week. We're going Packers over the Bears, but barely. And a couple of surprises. We'll take Denver over Seattle tomorrow night, and the Super Bowl hangover is in effect as Atlanta over Philadelphia. Again, go to channel3000.com, contests to make your picks. Another defensive back has left the Badger football team. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel's Jeff Petrikis reported that the departure is for personal reasons and not disciplinary for Patrick Johnson. Johnson missed last week's game against Western Kentucky with a head injury. The Badgers play at New Mexico at Camp Randall Saturday morning at 11. One of the real positives in last week's win against Western Kentucky was seeing running back Tywan Deal on the field. He had 8 carries for 53 yards, also played on special teams. Now in his senior season, Deal has dealt with more than his share of injuries. In fact, missed all of last season because he was hurt. He'll back up Jonathan Taylor in the Badgers' backfield, but he's ready for his role, whatever it may be.
It gave me a lot of confidence, but it also, gave me the mindset of being ready to get better. Not having a carry in over a year in a game since the Cotton Bowl. This is a good, way to start, and I think that, it's going to keep getting better, each and every week, each and every day.
Tywan, the way he approached camp, the impact he's made on teams kind of flows over in the same fashion to what he's doing on offense. I'm excited about that running back group, Tywan.
Friday night, the Prep Mania High School football game of the week returns with DeForest at Waunakee. Alan Minard, Bill Brophy, and I will be live on TVW and live streaming on channel3000.com with the Badger North rivalry, DeForest at Waunakee. And late last night at the U.S. Open, Rafael Nadal and Dominic Thiem had one of the all-time great matches. Nadal lost the first set 6-love, battled back, won a 5th set tiebreaker to advance to the semifinals. The match went 4 hours and 49 minutes, finished at 2:03 a.m. local time. Ooh, they're all sweaty and they're hugging each other.
We're just tired.
Yeah. Late night.
Yeah, but it wasn't raining there.
Right.
Final check, Gary? We still have some showers out there, but they are diminishing and they're starting to move eastward, which is good news. Even better news, a dry forecast starting tomorrow. Pretty much for not only the next 7 days, but maybe close to the next 10 days. Just some clouds on Sunday as the weather system passes to our south, but looks like the next chance of organized rain may hold off until Friday and Saturday of next week. That would be great news for everybody.
That is a thing of beauty right there, Gary.
Just keep it up there, play some music in the background and end the show.
Gary, thank you. And thank you for joining us for News 3 at 6.
Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.
Download the new Channel 3000 app and get alerted on your mobile device the minute news breaks. Wherever you go, be the first to know with Channel 3000.